Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the results edition for the Great Digital TCG Search 2014. I'm your host, as always, PDAM, and today I'm here to talk about Solforge and Faeria, the two members of Group A. Solforge came in as the 1 seed. Faeria was my 8 seed. Kind of a last-minute addition. I was hoping to be able to play, and was happy to get my hands on it while it was in closed beta. So let's talk Faeria and let's talk Solforge. Solforge is something I've been playing for a long time now. Something that I supported when it was in Kickstarter, and then when it was in beta. I played it throughout then, and really saw kind of the growth and development of the game. And it's definitely now become what I would consider a finished package. So I kind of know what I'm getting into if I let Solforge move on. I know the tournament structure, I know how the cards work, and I'm kind of getting adjusted to the metagame. But then we have Faeria on the other side of things, which is seems more accessible in terms of free to play. In Solforge, it definitely seems like you can easily buy your way into like top seeds in tournaments, and you can get the best cards that way. And if you don't, it is very, very difficult to come by cards, especially the higher rarity cards. But with Faeria, it seems like the packs are easier. You can kind of pick what you're getting, what color you're getting, which is really nice. And Faeria definitely offers something out of these games that none of the other games do. Faeria is more of a board game than it is a card game. Now, back when I played Magic, I found myself getting into a rut. The situations in Magic did not lend themselves to too many differences. Each game was separate, but decisions were usually more cut and dry than not. Faeria, the window for decision making is so wide because you're not only playing cards, but you're laying down the map itself. And so I think that in the video yesterday I lost, but the way I lost was really interesting. The tactics my opponent used were not something I would have thought of. But on the other side, Solforge is that finished, already ready to go package that I'm kind of looking for right now. And Faeria is still definitely an in development game. There's not many people online right now, which I was warned about before I got into it, to be fair. But it's also not necessarily the game I'm looking for. I am looking for something more simple, something that involves a one-on-one matchup, where the cards you play a bigger impact than necessarily like laying out the board. I guess I'm craving familiarity more than I had kind of hoped I would, and that's what kind of Solforge brings to the table more than Faeria. Now, what I will say about Faeria is a game I could see myself playing completely separate to whatever card game wins. It's different enough where it doesn't feel like it would be stepping on the ground of any of the other games I play. My curiosity is to see if they will have a matchmaking system like Hearthstone that puts you against similarly leveled players, because in the closed beta, of course, I was forced to play against somebody who had already played, it seemed like, a ton of games, and I got absolutely wrecked. But he was welcoming and seemed like a good member of the community. Whereas there's less of that interaction in Solforge. You're kind of playing against faceless people. But Solforge also offers, inter-app connectivity, and definitely if I ever end up going the way of getting an iPad or iPod Touch, it would be really nice to have a, Solforge able to run on that, able to play my card game on the go. And so I think in the end, what I ended up deciding was that Solforge was the winner. And it's not because I think it is that much better than Faeria. It is because it is complete. And Unfortunately for Faeria, which it was nice to take a look at it during this whole process, but Faeria, until it's finished, will be very difficult to truly assess. Whereas Solforge, already done, I kind of know what I'm getting for the most part. And so Solforge ended up being the winner, and we'll move on in the bracket out of Group A. I will probably do more coverage on Faeria in the future, hopefully, once it gets more of a committed following, which I believe it will, and I believe it fits a niche that is missing in these online card games. Whereas I feel like it's almost in its own competition. Whereas Solforge, Infinity Wars, you know, Hearthstone, and Scrolls and everything are kind of fighting for the same niche, but Faeria is almost on its own, and as a standalone kind of board game, it is definitely apart from everything else. So it's something I am definitely willing and wanting to look back on months down the line. And although it didn't win today, it may end up, you know, being something I regularly play, where a lot of these games that I'm covering will end up kind of being passed over and passed along. So yeah, Solforge moving on. You can check back next Thursday, and I'm pretty sure, I'm positive actually, I will be covering Scrolls from Mojang, and that will be the game I do next week. So I'll be digging into that all week, and I'll show you some online matches of that, and if not online matches, then bot matches, and that'll round out. Well, Group A and Group D are now done, and 2 of the final 4 are set. So we have War of Omens, and we have Solforge in the final 4. Now it is down to Scrolls, Pax Nora, Hex, and Hearthstone. So we'll see which games move on. You can check out the bracket at indiegamesaAA.com, and at the top of the video, if you want to pause it there, you can check out both. Go check out both these games. I know you can't play Faeria right now, but Solforge is free, Faeria is free, so eventually try getting into those. See what you think, and I'd like to hear your opinions on my decision, because I know most of you will probably disagree, or you'll just despise me, because that's how things work around here. But I am excited to play Scrolls next week and try that, because that also kind of throws card games at a different angle, and it's Mojang, so it's just super weird. But yeah, I think that's it for this week. IndieGamesAAA.com. You can hit me up on @IndiePD on Twitter. Check back next Thursday. I think you will enjoy the content I put up. Probably not. Maybe. Sure. Okay. See you next week.